then it will improve the load time. That means these are all first I will give you as points for inline technique, right? That means inline technique, inline technique. So if number of requests are reduced, then it will improve the load time. Already as a web developer, we know that for a page, if number of requests are increased, then page load time will increase. As much as possible, we reduce the page load time by using a single file. That is the reason you may understood that if anyone asks you a question, suppose we are using JavaScript. Writing JavaScript and writing CSS for HTML. If I write in a separate file like .js and .css and link to our HTML file, then what is problem? What is problem? If you link the external files like JS and CSS, then number of requests will increase. Then page load time will increase. If you write inside the HTML embedded by using script tag, style tag, then only one request will be there. That is for HTML page. Page load time will improve. But what is problem is in that technique, reusability across components. That means reusability across pages. Extensibility of code becomes difficult. That means what is problem in this technique? Problem in this technique is reusability. Reusability issues will come. Reusability issues. Reusability concerns, you can say. Concerns. Reusability concerns. Extensibility concerns. Extensibility concerns. Concerns. And very important, hard to test. Hard to test. Because if everything is present in one file, they are hard to test. But you want a simple UI, simple interaction without much reusability, extensibility, then better you can go with inline technique. That means you want a component. You don't need regular extensions into that component. So then you don't want even reusability across the component. Then what you have to do is, then you have to better go with inline technique. Better you have to go with the inline technique. So that is the point about inline technique. So whenever we are working with the components, it depends on the situation and requirement. So we are adding a new TypeScript file. Okay. Now in the TypeScript file, actually component is a class, and how to write a TypeScript class already we learned. And very important, this you have to access from other page. This you have to access from another page. If you have to access from another page, then you know the module system. You have to mark it as export class contact component. That is the component. Traditionally, how to create a CS TypeScript class we already learned. Any name you can give. Traditionally, for components, we use the suffix component. It's not mandatory. While creating the file also, we use the same technique. Now remember, this is still not having component behavior. Component behavior. So it is just a TypeScript class. That means Angular cannot recognize it as a component. Then to make it as a component, we have to import. We have to import. How to import already we know. Import from Angular core library. Angular/core. From Angular core library, we have to import from Angular core library. What we have to import from Angular core library? We have to import component from Angular core library. We have to import component from Angular core library. So that means component is the base. Component is the base. Everything is derived from this component base. And it is present in Angular core library. So already we know how to import library from other location. Already we know that how to import library from another location. For that we have to use import. We have to define import component from Angular core. That's how we need to configure, right? That's how we need to configure. Now it is imported from Angular core library. Now what is the next step? Here is still it is not having the component behavior. It is not having the component behavior. How do we give a component behavior? Let's see. So we imported the library, but it is not having any component behavior. How we can give a component behavior? Actually, this class should adopt the members of this component base. Should adopt the members from this component base. So this is an interface which provides all the contracts. It is an interface that provides all the rules, for defining component. Now, for component, whatever logic is there, you can write here. The logic is defined here. That means here what we are doing. So we are creating some public title. Title is equal to, suppose some title. So here we are defining title. Some description I am defining as, suppose Amazon shopping. Okay, that's what I have defined here. Okay. Next, I am defining another property. So I am defining another property, that is address. Address is equal to some address. Suppose Amazon, so LTD, some, and Hyderabad. Some options I define. Something like this we have configured. Some data we are adding here. Now, this is all the members. These are all the members. It can have all the properties and the methods and the functionality. You can define everything here, right? So now we have a component and its members, but still this is not having the component behavior. That means from where to pick the logic, what the presentation to be, how the UI should be, everything we need to define. That means important is whenever you are designing component. So we have component metadata. That means here I will define that. Every component is configured by using